Hey, so some of our NACWE sisters and people in Karen Bourg coaching have just begun to use Zoom during this March-April 2020 shelter-in-place event. And so they've had several questions, and I'm going to try to answer a few of those questions. Caveat, I am not an expert on technology and on Zoom. I'm just going to show you how I use it for the National Association of Christian Women Entrepreneurs and for Karen Bourg companies. And of course, you may have other questions. Please ask other questions. If you really are more tech savvy than I am, please make comments under this and update us on some things that I might have gotten wrong and that sort of thing. So first, I'll just show you share screen. I am a tab person, so on my laptop, I constantly have way too many tabs open. I actually closed some of them down so that I wouldn't be embarrassed in front of you. But I've got my email, my calendar, my Google Drive, Google Docs, and Google Sheets, which I use on a daily basis, and my Facebook open all the time because those are the places that I live the most. I have Zoom meetings open and NACWE YouTube account open. So this is the way we do it. We do pretty much everything on Zoom in the past. So NACWE is about 10 years old. We have over 800 things in our classrooms. I am Karen Bourg, the NACWE president, in case somebody's watching this that isn't one of us, for later. We have over 800 offerings in our NACWE classroom. We used to use teleseminars, articles. We have articles, blogs. We used to use teleseminars. We used to use Click Webinar. Now we use Zoom pretty much exclusively, really. And so I'm going to walk you through how I use Zoom. And then we upload every single thing that we do that's video related to YouTube, to our YouTube account. And we designate, and I'll show you that too, we designate whether that YouTube showing is public, unlisted, which means the only people that can see it are the people that you share the URL with, or private, which means you're the only one who will be able to see that. Even if you shared that URL with someone, they can see it. So I always keep Zoom open, my Zoom account open. I have a paid Zoom account, but I think most of what I'm going to show you, you can do in an unpaid or free Zoom account. The only difference that I know of, one difference is that you cannot speak for more than 40 minutes or it'll cut you off. And so if you know you're going to do a course and it's going to take an hour and you don't want to break it up into 2 sections, or my father came over and we set him up on YouTube just 2 days ago, his sermons, if he includes music and handouts and everything, he thinks will go further than 40 minutes. So he bought an account, I think it was about $150 for the whole year for him if you paid up front, So I usually, if I'm not there, when you finish making a Zoom recording, the URL at the top is going to say post attendee, as if you attended a meeting and you have logged out. But I'll go back in and type zoom.us/meeting and it brings me to all of my meetings. And as you can see, I've scheduled meetings out for a bazillion pages, 131 meetings scheduled out. You can pre-schedule them. They can be recurring. You can change the meeting ID from your own meeting account ID to any, they'll assign one to you, and that sort of thing. So you're going to click on schedule a new meeting. Get your meeting set up. I can't show you that because I'm in a meeting right now, or maybe I could. You're going to schedule a new meeting. Let's see if it'll let me. Yeah, it probably will. Name it, whatever you want to name it. I'm just going to call it test. You can put in a meeting description here. You can schedule the date and the hour. Be sure and make sure you're right on your time zone down here and on whether you're doing a meeting AM or PM. You can set the duration. It will, if you're in a free account, a red box is going to come up right here and remind you you can only record for about 40 minutes. So you can consider if you want it to be a recurring meeting, if you were going to meet daily or weekly for 1 hour until, you can either say for the next 7 weeks right here on Tuesdays, or you can say until December 12th. There is a limit to, even in a paid account, the number of meetings it will let you schedule out, and so it kind of depends on the frequency of the meetings. So there are some meetings that I have scheduled on almost a daily basis, or at least Monday through Friday, and every now and then it asks me to update those and scoot the date out a little bit further. If you forget to do that, you can go up here to your meetings, and you can click on past meetings. It's gonna let me previous meetings, and click on one of those meetings that you thought you lost, and extend the timeout. Do some edits and extend the timeout and that sort of thing. So you're going to schedule your meeting. Once you've scheduled your meeting, I might be skipping things here. If you need me to go backwards, we'll go backwards and make some more videos. But once you've scheduled your meeting, you can put your personal ID, meeting ID in your account. You can require a password or not. Right now, Zoom is kind of defaulting and asking you to require a meeting password because so many people have kind of photobombed Zoom, and it's been a little dangerous. They've tried to get into your meeting room. I've not had that problem so far. You can ask it to automatically set your host and your participants' videos on or off. You can give it the option of letting people come in by telephone or by audio or computer video and audio, and I usually do both. You can ask it to let people in your room before you get in there. I can't imagine why you need to do that. You can mute participants upon entry and then unmute them as you want to talk with them. You can enable a waiting room. I don't usually do that, but if you don't, when you start your meeting, everyone who's tried to sign in will be popping in as you start your meeting. If you don't, a little bar will pop up on the top right-hand corner as you start your meeting, and it will tell you who's in the waiting room, and you have to click on each name and say, admit them into your waiting room. You can tell it to record automatically. I don't do that because not everything needs to be recorded, and then you can save your meeting. Once you save your meeting, it'll be in your meetings list. There is a little bit of a difference on whether you're doing Zoom webinars or Zoom meetings. I have just gotten in the habit of doing everything as if it was a meeting, although we call them webinars, and I need some probably updated training on how to use that. So today, here I am in How I Use Zoom for NACWE and Karen Bourg Companies, April 2020. I don't need to join this meeting because I'm already in this meeting, but you can just click start or delete. If you don't delete a meeting and days go by, it just gets archived somewhere. It just deletes itself. But you can delete, join, you can edit each one of them, click on each one of them to get information. So let's say you wanted to join us for our Pomodoro work sessions, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings from 9 to 11:30 in the morning. This is a registration URL that I would copy and send to you if you wanted to join us. And once you register as a participant, it sends you a different URL, I think, to get, so it's easier to get in every single time. But this is where you can find your URL right here that you want to send to people. If you copy the whole invitation, it actually goes into great detail to tell them how to get in if they're using their laptop, how to get in if they're using their telephone, you know, what button to push, links everywhere. It's very, I think, user-friendly. So once you start your meeting, let's do that. I don't know if it's going to let me show you. Okay, I'm not sure what you can see. But once you start your meeting, I'm hoping you can see this bar that keeps popping up. At the bottom of your Zoom room, whether you're recording or not, if you hover over the bottom, a grayish, blackish bar will pop up. It gives you an opportunity to mute yourself, stop your video. If you stop your video and you've not put a picture in your account settings, then it just is going to show a blank screen. But if you put your picture in there, your picture will show. You can set security. Oh, okay, another thing about this. Let's see. I have been doing this for so long that I haven't had to tweak my microphone at all, but I'm setting up a new laptop and I probably will have to, and maybe if we can talk through that if you need to do that. I have done this, choose a virtual background. When you hover over your stop video, you can choose a virtual background. If your background behind you is a solid wall or a solid, it usually prefer a green screen because it's clearer if you put a picture of the beach behind you or something like that, but we love that feature. If you're sharing slides, it's not going to really matter. But security, you can manage participants by clicking on this, and each person who's in the room will be listed right here. I hope this is showing you what I'm doing. And then you can mute people, you can hide their video, you can kick them out of the room, you can see if they've raised their hands, all sorts of things. You can do polls, you can share your screen. That's what I did when I wanted to share my screen. I clicked share, and be aware that when you share your screen, the first thing that even your participants, I think, are going to be able to see, I've seen it before, is your entire desktop. So you might want to have some things closed and cleaned up a little bit on your desktop, because they're going to see you pop into your desktop and double click on what you want to show them. If you, like I double clicked on my Chrome browser to get in to show you Zoom. They're going to see that. So you'll click share, and then it'll your desktop will pop up. You'll double click on what you want to share with them, say a handout, a PowerPoint, whatever. You can stop share or pause share, annotate, I don't know. So over here on the more, now this is a little bit different. When I first open up my Zoom room, on this bar, it asks me if I want to record or not, I think. And I clicked yes. So when I clicked, there's a little button right here that's not there right now. And it's a little round circle, and it says, do you want to record? And it asks me record to cloud, which means you're recording sort of in your Zoom account. It's going to be on the cloud, on the internet, kind of hanging out there. Or do you want to record on your laptop? Honestly, I have done both. If one of the NACWE team members is logged into my Zoom account and they're doing the recording for me, I want them to record to cloud, because I want to be able to come home from my vacation and see that it's there and do whatever needs to be done with it, with that recording. But for the most part, I don't know if this is the wisest course of action, but it's what I do. I record straight to, it'll say record to cloud or record to computer. I record to computer. When you leave or end your meeting for everyone, if you've recorded to cloud, it will be here in your recordings section. So you click on recordings. I shouldn't have anything in there. I cleaned it all out. It will only hold so much. And then they'll send you a message saying, don't you want to move some of these things out of here? Here's one. So this one was from April 1st. And then from here, it's saved, and you can choose what you want to do. Do you want to download it? Do you want to delete it? Do you want to share it with someone? So if if your meeting is recorded in cloud, you can say share, and it will give you a URL to share with everyone. Very, very handy. Otherwise, I record on my computer, and the minute you end your meeting or leave your meeting and everyone has left your meeting, a folder will open on your desktop, and it will have everything inside. And we're going to do this. I'm going to try to show you this. It'll have everything inside that folder that you need. It'll have the chat room if anybody talked to one another. It'll have an audio version of your recording. It'll have a video version of your recording, and then a playback version of your recording. If you were going to have your recording transcribed, you wouldn't really need to send the video to someone. All they really need to do is hear, and you might just send the audio playback to someone to transcribe. Okay, so what else is over here? You can open and close your chat room here, pause and stop your recording here, hide video panels, all sorts of things. So I'm going to stop share. Let's say that we have made a recording and it has been saved on our laptops. So what'll happen, I'm going to show you, let's share screen again. What happens is sorry, got things going on in the background. A folder pops up and has all of your files in it, the chat room, the audio playback, the video playback, and they're in a folder that is accessible forever. But you've got to, what I do is I rename it and save it somewhere else so that it's easier for me to find, and it's already labeled very, very well, because it won't be labeled at all. It'll just say playback, audio, chat, video, Zoom. So that pops up, and here's our NACWE folder. Here's April. In April, so far, we have, so here's the 1st of April, Jessica Hammock talked to us about how we handle trauma, how we respond to trauma, like how our bodies and our minds and our emotions and everything responds to trauma. It's very appropriate for this pandemic crisis time that we're all in the middle of. When her video popped up on my screen, I renamed it NACWE Community and Education Webinar, April 7th, 2020, Jessica Hammock, The Way We Respond to Trauma. So you can see here is the audio playback, and it's usually an M3U file. Here is the text document, which is our chat room. It gives us a different sort of audio playback, audio only, which is an M4A file. And then the MP4 file is your Zoom recording, your video Zoom recording. So you can see everything, hear everything, the whole kit and caboodle. You're actually in charge of what is seen as you record a video. No one else is in charge of that. So no matter what your audience is doing, the buttons you push and what you see is what is recorded on the video recording. So if you can see it, other people can see it too, essentially. So I put these in a file folder where it's easy for me to find. Whether you decided to record to cloud or record to your computer, please rest assured that if you can't find it, or you think you lost it, or you think you deleted it, more than likely it is still there. And the way that you find it is I hope I don't mess up my little creative download here, is to go to download. So you usually, when you open up your folders, you have your desktop, your downloads, your documents. If you click on downloads, Zoom has already created a Zoom folder for you. Famous last words. Let's do a search. Okay, let's go back and click on not downloads, but documents. There's Zoom. And when you click on, so when you click on documents and you click on Zoom, they have created a folder for you, and it's usually by date. So this one is March 26th, 2018. I feel like I'm giving you, no, here's April 18th. 2020, and it's got my label on it, the label that I put on it. And I feel like I'm sending you to the wrong place. Downloads, there should be a Zoom folder that Zoom creates for you. Maybe it's in documents. No, we already did that. Okay, we're gonna have to come back to this one because you don't need to wait for me to see what's going on here. Okay, so let's say you have finished your Zoom recording. You will go to your YouTube account. So here's NACWE's YouTube account. filled with things from our classroom from the last, I don't know, umpty gazillion years, I guess. I have created in my Zoom account, your Zoom account is called your channel. And then you have playlists inside your channel. So sort of sub channels, if you want to call them that. And I have one called NACWE Free Training, because the first webinar of every month is free and shared with the world. And so that's where those go. And then I have NACWE member content, because the second, third, fourth, and if there is a fifth Tuesday in the month, those webinars are saved for members only. They have paid for membership, and they deserve, to my opinion, to have a truckload of things right at their fingertips to help them learn how to run their business and ministry God's way. And so there are over at this point in the free training on our website, nacwe.org/free training, there are probably 1 or 2 or sometimes even 3 dozen trainings in there that you can get for free. And we rotate new ones on and take old ones off all the time. And they go into the NACWE member content when they come off. But in our member content, there are over 800 offerings in there. Some of them are webinars like this. Some of them were done on Zoom. Some of them were done on Click Webinar. Some of them are teleseminars. Some of them are articles. Some of them are blogs. But there are over 800. There's a search button you can push to find what you need to find. But this is what your YouTube channel looks like when you first log into it. So you need to be logged, oops, what did I just click? You need to be logged into your YouTube channel. Okay, so what you would do if you have finished recording and you know where to find your recording, to upload your recording to YouTube. So you can send, so Zoom gives you a URL that you can share with people, but we've had reports from people saying when I've shared that URL, they couldn't see it. I could see it, but they couldn't see it, or they couldn't hear it, or it didn't work for them. And so the safest thing to do is have these things saved. This is the way that we do it. I would come up here in my account and click on the little create a video or post icon that looks like a video camera. When I click on it, hello. Oh, God, I'm in my way. My picture's in my way. It'll say go live. So you can make a live video straight to YouTube. Go in and it lets you put in a title. It lets you put in a description. It lets you tell it what playlist you want it to be on. Do you want it to be public? Do you want it to be unlisted? So the only people that can see it are the people you share the URL with. Or do you want it to be private? Only you can see that. Even if you shared that URL with someone else, it wouldn't let them see it. A little bit of security there. So you can go live. I have actually I've done a lot of live videos straight to Facebook, and then someone on the NACWE team has taken those off of Facebook and put them in my YouTube account. I have not done a lot of go live videos in YouTube, but you can. But you're going to upload your video, click upload video. A box pops up sometime. And it asks for you to drag and drop a file you want or select a file from your computer. I usually select a file. Go to my desktop, 2020 folder, NACWE 2020 folder, NACWE April. So if I was going to upload, right now, it's not going to let me upload a file that I have already uploaded before. It's going to say that's already in there. But let's see. If I were to upload Jessica's webinar, here it is. I would click on it and say open. Let's see if it'll open it for me. It probably will, but it won't let me completely upload it, which takes a while anyway. Okay. It puts the title in that you have already created. So here you have an opportunity to, and it's already created a URL for someone. If you share this URL with someone right now, they wouldn't be able to see anything because it hasn't been uploaded and published. But but it gives you the URL. I usually save that very first thing. I have actually, I'll show you. This is our 2020 Education Vault for NACWE So we have a list of every webinar we've ever created. We create a webinar every single Tuesday, sometimes on Wednesdays as well. So you get at least 52 webinars on different topics throughout the year. And we have this shared Google sheet so that we can keep track of it. What was the date? What was the title? Who was the author? What classroom did we post it to? What was the URL of that one? What were some of the key words we used, et cetera? And we can write notes to one another and say, where's the handout for this one, et cetera. My Tuesday webinars are in there. Wednesday webinars are in there. My Karen board classes are in there. It's just an amazing tool to use. So go back to YouTube. You would go ahead and change the title if you want. I've just realized today that one of the things I've done that isn't very wise is I've left the little Zoom 0 in here. It says Zoom 0. If you did 2 recordings in one, you paused, you stopped again, you stopped, you started again, it would say Zoom 0, Zoom 1, Zoom 2, Zoom 3. I have left these little words in here. So what has happened, if you go to the NACWE classroom and you want a video on how to use Zoom and you just type in the word Zoom, you get a truckload of videos. And I'm just now realizing that was not a wise thing for me to do. Under here, you can put your description. So I might say a little bit more about who NACWE is and how you can find us and who Jessica is and how you can find her and why we wanted to talk about the way we respond to trauma and, you know, just an encouraging word, anything there. The YouTube is going to choose a thumbnail for you. When you see that all of our thumbnails kind of look the same, Callie from our NACWE team has gone in there and cleaned those up, because you could get a YouTube thumbnail, created thumbnail where everybody was looking, you know, or praying with their heads down or whatever, and you want to sometimes choose what thumbnail, but you can choose. So they're going to give me like 3 options here, and I can choose the one I like the best. They're going to ask me what playlist does this go under. Well, this was done the first Tuesday of every month, so it's going to go in the NACWE free training playlist. You have to click on your playlist and say done. Is this video made for kids or not made for kids? I always say no, it's not made for kids. But when you say yes, it is made for kids, it's going to ask you some more questions. What age range is appropriate? It's going to ask you to verify that there's not anything in there that might be offensive to children and that sort of thing. It's just one of the new processes that they've taken to make sure that our children are safe. I love that. It's a little frustrating, but it's a few extra questions to answer. You're going to say no. It's going to let you add cards and an end screen and different things if you want to. I don't do that. Callie might go back in and do that. Click next, and it's going to ask you, who sees this? Is it public? Is it unlisted? Anyone with a video link can see your video. Is it private? Only you and people you choose can see your video. And if you want to schedule it, I don't want this to pop up. If you want it to pop up today, you're going to click publish. You're going to say it's public and I want it to publish. If you want to, it'll let you schedule it out. I want this to pop up tomorrow. I want it to pop up the next day, etc. It won't let you publish it until down here. This bar shows you that it is 100% uploaded, and it will actually even tell you that it's finished uploading and complete and ready to be published. And you will click publish. If I pushed it right now, it would say it's not ready. I'm going to go back and I'm going to stop this because I don't want. When you're done, it's going to show you a little box like this. It's going to show you your thumbnail. It's going to give you your link and tell you what it's filed, what name you've filed it under. And so you'll want to copy paste your link and make sure that you put it in a safe place. You still can find it really easily when you go to your YouTube channels, but we have 800 of them. So I always copy paste it and put it in an Excel file or Word document or send myself an email, whatever your system is that would work best for you. I am going to hopefully delete this because it won't publish it twice for me anyway. It'll recognize it as one that's already been published.